Now available for the first time in paperback. Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere.
One of the guys you got to look out for on the job is the talker. Now, the talker is a guy with a big mouth who likes to talk a lot, and when he goes out here, his mouth oftentimes writes a check that winds up cashing you out of a good job. Now, talkers are like empty wagons. They make lots of noise and get your attention, but for the most part, there is nothing of substance as related to them, and you have to learn how to filter out their noise, because if you wind up listening to their noise and get distracted by it, it could wind up leading to you winding up out of a job. Now, talkers are very appealing to a lot of employers during interviews, because a talker will just go out here and be loud and make a lot of noise, but a lot of interviewers really don't know how to filter through that noise, and they wind up hiring these guys because they can talk a good game. But the whole thing is that these guys, when you get them on the job, that's when you see that this guy cannot produce results. And because these guys can't produce results, what they do is go out here and look to undermine other people on the job. They look to undermine people on the job because they don't want anybody looking at how mediocre they are or even how poor they are. So to get the focus off them, what they do is start making a lot of noise about you. So when you have a talker on the job, what they do is when they see an individual who is on the job about their business, they start to get scared. And once they start to get scared of that individual, that's when they start trying to get up in a dude's face and start trying to talk to him. And as they start trying to talk to them, what they're doing is not looking to get to know you. No, what they're looking to do is get information about you, and hope as they get this information about you, find something that they can use to get leverage with, and use that information to go to the bosses in an effort to say something bad about you, in the hopes of getting their focus on you instead of focusing on the quality of their work, because that's what the talker wants to do. They want to get people talking about how bad you are. What they want to do is get them focused on talking about you so that nobody will be talking about them. So that's why you have to be very careful when you're in the workplace and dealing with talkers, because while the talker is talking all their crap, what they're doing is looking to get you to go out here and make a mess that leads to your career being flushed at whatever company that you're working at. So these talkers are people, again, they come into the workplace very loud, very boisterous, and make a lot of noise, but you have to filter through that noise and see who you're dealing with in the workplace. Because when you're dealing with a talker, you're dealing with somebody who is just talking because they're scared, and they talk because they're scared of somebody going out here and showing that they can work. Because in the workplace, the talker knows that actions speak louder than words, and because actions speak louder than words, a person's actions will show people that they're a solid worker. So what they want to do is get your eyes off the action and get your eyes focused on this person's mouth. These people know how to manipulate people using their interpersonal skills, so they use their interpersonal skills to overcompensate for their ability to go out here and produce. But what they produce in the workplace, in many cases, is a lot of hot air. When you're dealing with talkers, they will go out here and make a lot of hot air, and it'll sound great, but when you start deconstructing their talking points, deconstructing their ideas, and start using logic and reason, that's when you start to see that this person is completely full of crap. And as you see that this person is completely full of crap, you know that all they're making is a lot of noise, but that noise ain't really saying anything. And that's why you have to be very careful when you're dealing with a talker, because they will go out here and get you to talk yourself right out of a job, because one of the things that they know how to do is, again, make everything sound flowery and nice. But the whole thing is that they will go out here and say something bad about you as they're saying things flowery and nice, hoping to get you out the door so that they can go out here and stay on the job. Because in order for them to stay on the job and maintain their level of mediocrity, they have to make sure that you don't have any tangible results to show. So what these guys do is they want you to go out here and not have any sort of results. And that's another part of their distraction tactic. Another part of their distraction tactic is to get up on you when you're trying to get your work done, constantly trying to talk to you while you're out here trying to do work. This guy will come up and try to distract you and try to keep you from being focused, but you have to set a boundary for the talker and let them know you got no time to talk, because every second you spend talking to them is time that you have to be productive, and it's your productivity that's going to be the thing that is going to possibly lead to you having a goal that you can say that you accomplished. If you have to leave that job, you can actually say, I've got tangible results and tangible records of things that I've done. And that's what you're going to use when you're dealing in an organization where you have a talker. Again, people love talkers because they make them feel good. But a talker, while he may make you feel good, doesn't go out here and produce tangible results. And while these guys may tell people what they want to hear, they oftentimes don't produce anything of value. So they'll sit there and talk a good game, but when it comes down to playing the game and bringing in the numbers, these guys can't produce any numbers. So this is why you have to watch how you deal with a talker. And again, the best way to deal with a talker is to just keep it professional and just keep your words to a minimum, because the way the talker gets power is by going out here and getting you to start saying things, and what they hope to do is take everything you say and use it against you. So the talker, what they look to do is they look to manipulate the social environment in the hopes of getting you to start talking about yourself. And then as you start talking about yourself, what they do is hope to create a narrative around you that they can manipulate to tell a story that they can go out here and try to weaponize against you and demonize you as something different than you are. Because these guys like to use things like gossip networks and whisper networks to their advantage. A talker likes to go out here and get people talking and talking bad about you, because if they're talking bad about you, they can't see how mediocre he is on the job. And if people can't see how mediocre he is on the job, then they're looking at you. But the whole thing is, you don't want to be in the presence of the talker, because again, yes, he's loud, he makes a lot of noise, but like again, an empty wagon, it just has nothing in it. And you can't let this person intimidate you out of a job, because you have a right to make a living, and you have a right to make a living and go out here and be able to make that living to take care of yourself. And part of taking care of your business is shutting down the talker, because the talker or the gossip at the job is somebody who is out to make sure that you're not making money, because they don't have the skills to make money themselves. No, what they know how to do is jive talk. They know how to get out here and use the mouthpiece, but that's all they've got is a mouthpiece, and all they've got in that mouthpiece is a lot of crap, because they've got more crap coming out of their front side than their back side. But all they do is make it look flowery and look nice. But the whole thing is, once you get past the definitions of all of their glib words, you realize that this person, when you start to ask them when it's time to bring in the tangibles, they can't bring it to the table. And that's where they wind up falling apart. So the way you deal with them is, one, going out here, keeping it professional, keeping your words to a minimum, never getting personal on the job with them, never getting into it with them, and keeping it all about business. And you also have to go out here when you're dealing with the talker and let them know that it's all about the tangible results you are bringing when you're out here with the supervisors. When you're out here with the supervisors, you make sure that it's all about the tangible results and show these bosses tangible results, because it's tangible results at the end of the day that are going to help a business grow, not some guys talk, because talk is cheap. If you're talking and you can't bring no results, people are going to look at you and say that you're full of it, like what they're doing right now with New York Mayor Eric Adams, who talked a good game and was able to jive and deflect. But when people looked at his results, they realized that this guy is full of it. Same thing for Dan Didio, who was working at DC Comics. Eventually, people realized, yes, he talked a good game, but he couldn't bring results. So you want to make sure that everything you're doing at a job when you're talking is backed up with tangible results and tangible numbers, because at the end of the day, it's going to be your tangible results and your tangible numbers that are going to let people know what type of quality work you're going to bring to the table. Because when you're on a job, it's not about what you're saying, it's about what your work says. And if your work on the table is making a statement, it's going to be seen by all those around the world, because when people see what you've done, it's going to speak louder than what you're saying. Because a guy who can go out here and again talk a good game, yeah, he may get your attention for a minute, but those tangible results that person has, that's going to speak louder than words. And when you have tangible results on the table and can show that you can produce and meet goals, that's going to say more than this guy who was talking, because talking is cheap, because talk is something anybody can do. But going out here and producing results, that's going to say that you're serious, or somebody that needs to be taken seriously. That's the thing that everybody needs to understand about the workplace. It's all about your work. And again, there may be people who want to think, oh, I talked to this guy and he's a good talker. Well, eventually, if he's talking a good game and ain't no results, eventually people are going to notice. And I saw this happen when I was working at Strive. There was a vice president who told me he had no place for me in his organization. Instead, even though I was bringing in results, and didn't want to bring me in because I was going to possibly upstage him. And in a year, this dude was gone because, yes, he was a good talker, but his results just weren't there. And I've seen this happen in many jobs. Yeah, the talker will be around for a while, but eventually people are going to look at their numbers. They're going to look at their results. They're going to look at the goals that they set with this person. And if they don't see that these results are going to be met, they're going to say, look, this guy, he's saying all the right things, but we're looking at his work, we're looking at his work rate, we're looking at his numbers, it's just not there. That's what many men will say when they look at a dude at his work. They will say, okay, you talking one thing, but I'm looking at the sales numbers, I'm looking at the widget production numbers, I'm looking at the productivity at the job, I'm looking at the worker morale, and as I'm looking at these things, I'm not seeing what you're saying. But when you have a guy, he may not be the best talker. The whole thing is the results are there, and you can see the tangible results. That's the person people are going to take seriously, because they say, okay, this person can produce, this person can produce on time, they can produce consistently, they can produce regularly, and since they can produce regularly and consistently, I'm going to go with the person who can show me the numbers and show me the tangibles, not the guy who talks a good game, because talk at the end of the day is where some of these guys who are talkers, their mouths write checks, but the whole thing is you don't want your business to be in a place where your ass can't cash it. Now, if you want to learn more about workplace predators like talkers, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in the Workplace at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you want to see me do more videos about the workplace, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get the regular and variant editions of John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose, on Amazon.com today. Now available on Lulu, John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at Lulu.com today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.